Hey everybody, I'm sitting on the patio of our Santa Monica salon with Daniel Ryder. Daniel was one of our first employees at Salon Republic, where I stole him away from a traditional salon, right?
That's correct.
Commission salon, and I hired you to manage our Beverly Hills salon, and that was about 12 years ago, is that right?
That's correct.
You've since opened 3 salons, and you've worked full-time in 2 salons for SR over 12 years. There's nobody that I know in this business who has worked more closely with and met more hairdressers than Daniel. It's probably 1,000+ hairdressers that you met with.
Absolutely.
And that you've worked closely with. So I wanted to get your impression of, I wanted to get in your brain and pull out all the information that you've learned over these 12 years and give it to all the hairdressers out there to help them in their businesses.
Great.
So question number 1. How does a hairdresser know whether a studio or booth rent is right for them?
Well, I think it comes down to just looking at your business. You know, I've seen so many people who are very successful. They have a steady clientele. They're generating a huge income for a salon, and then they're giving it away, half of it at least, typically to a salon owner. So I think that's initially when the light bulb goes off, like, wait, maybe I could actually do this on my own, because I do have a regular committed clientele. I do sell a ton of retail, and I'm making a lot of money for this place. Well, why can't I do that for myself? And then they discover a place like Salon Republic who is offering them the opportunity to actually do it. When you get down to the numbers of it, because that's what it comes down to, right? If you're crunching like, wow, I do this many clients a week, I sell this many products a week, that could all be mine.
So then when they come in and you're at the front desk of the salon and they want to see the salon, you tour them of the salon, and then they're reticent. Do you actually go through the process of analyzing those numbers with them?
I approach each tour case by case. So there are people who will come in who I know are very excited. They understand the concept. They've been here. You know, they've heard about us or this style of of studio renting or booth renting, and they've got all the questions ready to go, and that's it. Others will come in and they're so scared. It's almost like shell shock because they're like, "What is this? How can I have my own business?" You know, it's an exciting thing for a lot of people, and it's a scary thing too. So I really just take it case by case. There are some who I will, sit down with them and say, "How many clients do you have?" And be realistic. You know, be honest with yourself.
Right. And how much revenue are you taking in on services on a weekly basis or monthly basis?
Absolutely. Right? How much are you, because you're retailing. So how much are you getting in retail? You're only getting a commission of your retail. Well, if you're here and you're selling this product, you're getting 100% of that retail product value right there. That's it. We do have people who have made their rent by selling retail. They will make their rent every week on retail alone. So then every service on top of that, it's gravy.
So how does a hairdresser know from a personality basis whether having their own studio is a good idea?
Yeah, well, I think people often will come in and initially they'll be fearful of that sort of isolated, private idea of a studio, especially if they're coming from a traditional salon where, there's a lot of activity, it's booming, there's energy. Which is not the case, though, in reality. So when they come in, you have the opportunity to be a part of the community. So you come in, you open your door, lift your blinds, get to know your neighbors. It's just like a traditional salon. You have all of that energy. If you want to be private, if you're in a bad mood, if you want to just focus on the client that's in your chair, pull your blinds, shut your door, you have the opportunity for both. So we really do offer the best of both worlds. And you have 24/7 access too. So you can be a part of like a crazy Saturday. We have stylists that don't work Saturdays. They've chosen not to. That's their day off, so they work on Sunday. You get to do it. Then you have your own little group that like, oh, we're the Sunday crew. Like, this is so cool. How are you? Nobody else works on a Sunday. There's a great opportunity to develop long-term friendships. I mean, 12 years I've been in the salons, and I've seen people who didn't know each other prior to coming in, and they're the best friends. Scroll through social media, you see they're hanging out outside of work, which is pretty awesome.
So you've worked really closely with a lot of hairdressers. What are the successful hairdressers doing versus the unsuccessful hairdressers?
I think the successful hairdressers are very realistic about their business. They know how many clients they have. They keep a really sharp record of that. They're really good at retailing products. They are aware of how the industry is constantly changing, and so they are on top of all of the trends, making sure they're continuing their education. That's a huge thing. Social media, ginormous. You know, that's really how you can build your career, and then just making sure that you're constantly hustling and seeking clients. You've got to build. You've got to continue to build, and we've seen people do that, right? So we have people who have come in after seeing it for 12 years, coming in with the smallest studio and expanding to 2 or 3 or multiple locations. That's what can happen. But those are the people who are aware of their business and are constantly understanding that they're the owner and that they're responsible for the success of their business. Pre-booking is huge. You're getting the client on the books for their next appointment. Chances are they're going to honor that, as opposed to letting them walk out the door and not do that. Who knows if they're going to come back in 6 weeks? Maybe it's 8 weeks. So pre-booking, huge.
It's a value to them, and it's a value to the hairdresser.
Absolutely. We have one of our stylists who's been very successful for many, many years, who pre-books for the year. His clients, it's not just the next appointment.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah, and that's it. And guess what? They probably will honor it.
Yeah.
And then they know, like you said, it's good for them. It's good for them. It's good for you. Everyone knows we're taken care of. Like, I'm solid.
Right.
So that's a big deal. Making sure that you're flexible. You know, you have the ability to accommodate their schedule even more so now, because you're not operating under the guise of a traditional salon's hours. You can work whenever you want to. So being flexible for your clients, customer service, that's huge, right? Show up. When you're going to be there, be 15 minutes early, you know. So some unsuccessful stylists who are late constantly.
Yeah. We've had some, right? We've had definitely,
some, yes,
who have moved in, and they fail miserably, unfortunately. And what are they doing that causes them to not be successful?
Right. Well, not showing up. That's a big one. Not accommodating their clients, maybe overcharging. Sometimes that does happen. Not understanding the value of providing retail products to their clients. It's showcasing your work, right? I mean, that's why we sell products. The products are actually to enhance what they've just paid good money for. So why not do that? It's good for them. It's good for you.
Yeah.
And I think just not being realistic about how many clients they have. I think that's the biggest one. People come in very ambitious, which is great. You know, I love to see that sort of fire, like, oh, I can be a business owner, but then not having the follow through. Like, well, what does that actually mean? Like, have I actually gone through my financials? Have I actually looked at my clients? Have I reached out to my clients and said, hey, you know, I'm thinking about doing this thing on my own. Would you be willing to change locations? Would you be willing to follow me to a new spot?
Right. Some
will be, some won't be. But I think when they're not looking at the reality of the situation, which is pretty basic, those are the ones I think who have failed. And also the ones who don't want to work. We have seen that too. You know, people come in and they think, oh, now I'm the boss. I'm the big boss. So I come in and I make my schedule and do what I want to do. But it's like, no, at the end of the day, if no one's in your chair,
the client's the boss.
The client is the boss.
The client is always the boss.
Right.
Doesn't matter what kind of salon you're working in.
It's true. It's true. Yeah. So one of my favorite success stories is a stylist at our Pico location, Keenan. He came in right after graduating from school, and he was really excited about this idea. It was a new concept, and he really wanted to rent a space. And so I asked him if he had a clientele. He had an okay clientele, but he was still, just starting out. And we kind of went through it all, and I said, do you think you're ready? Do you think you're really ready to do this? Financially, you ready? Do you have people that are going to follow you? And he was smart and realistic and said, no, I'm not. I'm going to need to build. So he did exactly that. He went off, he built his clientele. He was in 4 salons in 5 years, and he came back after the 5 years, and he was ready to do it, and he was so excited, and we luckily had a space available. And he's now been there, for a number of years and is continuing to be successful in his business. So, right out of school,
that's awesome.
Knew he wasn't ready, did the work, came back, and now he's successful. So
that's amazing.
It's great. And then we have a stylist here on the other flip side of that at the Santa Monica location. fresh out of beauty school. She was very active on social media. She really built up her Instagram accounts.
While she was in school?
While she was in school. So she was constantly doing her friend's hair, doing, you know, all of the studying at school, and you know, showcasing the work that she was doing as she was learning. Mm-hmm. And you could see the progression of growth too, right? So you're seeing before and after from the student who then now goes through the program and is graduating. She graduated from school, came to us, had a set clientele. She was ready to roll. She was not playing around. And you know, I was even skeptical. I'm like, are you sure that you can jump in? Like, you've been out of school for 2 months. And she was ready. So we had the smallest studio available. She took it, which is always great. You know, like, don't start too big. You want to start in this teeny little spot? Fantastic. If we have one available, utilize it, you know? From there, continued to build. It's been 3 years now. She's had to expand to a larger space, bring in an assistant, because she's just become so successful and literally built off of social media.
Okay, that was amazing information. Thank you so much for being a part of Salon Republic, being part of our culture and our community. It means so much to everybody. I know it means a lot to the hairdressers, and it's meant a lot to me, so I thank you very much. And thank you for conveying all this information to everybody. I hope that they absorb it and it helps them in their business.
Me too, absolutely. Thank you.